Hey y'all, this is your girl BMORE and welcome to the Dummies Cauldron.
Hey, this is your girl BMORE, and today we are going to be talking about Jupiter retrograde. So in the previous video, I discussed Mercury's retrograde, which started November 9th. Now Jupiter's retrograde starts November the 11th. Now Jupiter is the planet of luck, auspiciousness, but also it's about duty, wealth, health, children, but also the husband, teachers, and law, the principal. So when it is retrograded, we see that we miss out on opportunity. The luck or the auspiciousness, the thing seems to be something that we either missed out on or kind of comes back around. The second thing is things don't always go as planned. So we can plan to the T, and sometimes luck is a little bit of all we need to push us over the hilltop, a little mountaintop to get us to the results that would really suit us. And we find that when Mercury is retrograde, those two things seem to be the thing. Things can kind of operate in a very interesting way. Now, Jupiter has been in Cancer maybe since like this summer. Yeah, I went in this summer. And when Jupiter's in Cancer, we can see beautiful things, blessed marriages, and children, being materially comfortable, intelligent, influent, and well known in our field. Now, because it is in the sign of water, water takes on characteristics of adhesion. It is known as the translation of what sticks when we translate it from Sanskrit is one of the translations of it. And so in water, it is great for memory and relationships, but it can be self-protecting, clingy, possessive, and that can sometimes make for a self-centered approach. Now, this retrograde starts on the 11th and it won't end until March. So we're going to have a few months of trying to deal with these missed opportunities or things just not going according to plan. Would really recommend for people to examine everything from August 17th up until this point to see kind of what opportunities we could have missed, what didn't go according to plan. And sometimes things not going according to plan may be a good or a bad thing. That is subjective. But it does give us time to review and to question these types of things, because Jupiter gives us wisdom and we only gain that through experience. And so we had the first experience of going through those transits, and now that it's retrograde, which it appears to be going backwards through the sky or going backwards through the zodiac, we can examine what opportunities we haven't missed and actually gain some wisdom from this. I know people like to sit around and kind of like scream about planets going retrograde, but they do have a pro and a con to them. And so we can examine these missed opportunities, things not going according to plan, and stuff like that. The other thing is sometimes during retrogrades, particularly due to especially Mercury, sometimes Jupiter, we can see in these retrogrades that, and I'll say Venus, I'll say those are like usually the main three things. We usually can see like sometimes even weird sales or kind of discounts with certain things. So that is it. Now on to the reading. How to use this reading. This reading is calculated for Sun, the Moon, and Rising, and it's calculated for tropical. If you don't know your signs, you can always plug it in to a birth chart calculator and take it from there. Now on to the first sign, Aries. Aries, this retrograde will occur in your 4th house, and so usually Jupiter in the 4th kind of makes for an extravagant lifestyle, happiness, close with family, or even success in the career. Now, this is going to be occurring in your 4th house. And so this is your 9th house lord and your 12th house lord going down into your 4th house. So let's check that out. During this time, we are going to see a very strong interest in foreign affairs in distant lands, maybe even trying to go on a trip. Maybe getting along with people from distant lands and foreign backgrounds. Now, there is some tension being produced with Jupiter, and so there could be some difficulties with establishing maybe an estate or not obeying the rules or the laws. And that could definitely be a thing. We can also see people trying to push for like getting into power trips and struggling with power. Try not to take things too far. That would be my best bet towards you. You can be also very religious right now. Very focused on your own spirituality and your sense of faith. And, maybe you have some wounds and you need to try to figure out kind of what's going on with you and your own identity at this point in time. Now, your 12th house lord goes down into your 4th house. And so when that happens, there tends to be time to yourself. You need a place where you can just relax and call your own in the corner and have some privacy. You may also sometimes be more of a homebody right now and try to work more from home or incorporate more of your life into your home life. But yeah, hopefully this time will help you guys to try to figure out your belief systems, what make you happy, trying to be close to family, and maybe having success in things going through your career. Good luck, Aries. Now for my Taurus, this will occur in your 3rd house. Jupiter in the 3rd house tends to be frugal. Sibling relationships or relationships with relatives and neighbors tend to be successful more often than not. We tend to be good communication skills and artistic nature. Now we have your 8th and your 11th house lords going down into your 3rd. So what does that mean? Well, for one, you feel the need to express yourself, or at least some 8th house concerns, and so that could be due to, 8th house can be like sex, death, taxes, other people's power, or just sharing about obstacles that maybe you have faced. You also maybe be the life of the party, maybe telling risque jokes. Maybe people see your voice as more attractive, or maybe they feel like it's a sexy voice more. Or maybe like your speaking voice has more of a sex appeal. The other thing is you can be very close with your friends, your neighbors, classmates, acquaintances, and relatives. You can be in genuinely friendly times. Now, there could be a little bit of a strain because when this retrograde started, the moon was kind of squared Venus, and then Jupiter was opposing Pluto. So there's a good chance that there could be some type of strain that you maybe have to figure out. Your aims and ambitions may be associated in fields of travel or communications, or aspects that are also kind of wrapped up into these types of endeavors. I would also say sometimes the ambition of going after these goals are things that make you happy. I notice sometimes with these placements that they kind of make people feel lonely because they're so wrapped up in their own world or these pursuits that they feel like they're missing out in life. And maybe that could be a thing that you can kind of examine. All right, good luck, Taurus. Now for my Geminis, this will be occurring in your 2nd house. Jupiter in the 2nd house makes you talkative, a lover of good foods, educated, earns good living, eloquent in speech, and having generally a beautiful face. Now, your 7th and 10th house lord goes into your 2nd. So when your 10th house lord goes into your 2nd, this is a very powerful career indicator. You can make a lot of money through your career. You can earn a lot because Jupiter in the 2nd tends to be very powerful. It's very important that you can also be seen in prominence. If you can integrate these to your advantage, you can definitely gain that prominence in your career field. The other thing is partnerships whether platonic or not, play a very important role into that success as well. So there's a frequent placement of someone who either marries for security or through our partnerships. Again, platonic or not, they end up offering that type of security, or your partner shares the same value system, or you can earn money through the legal field or face-to-face confrontation, like a boxer. You can also earn large salaries because you're popular in the public, or your partner may earn money with you, and that is also how you make a larger amount of money. Or you marry or you partner with someone who is good at managing money. Well, these are opportunities for you to focus on those things, and maybe these are opportunities that we could have missed for whatever reason. So good luck, Gemini. For my Cancers, this will be occurring in your first house. Now here it makes people attractive, fortunate, strong in constitution, luck through children, religious-minded, intelligence, and just overall happy and contented. And so Jupiter rules your 6th and 9th house, and this will be going into your first. So what does that mean? When your 6th goes into your first, I tend to find that these people love work and it gives them satisfaction in the field that they do, and just making money isn't enough for you to feel comfortable in the work that you do. You want the fulfillment of coming in and just feeling attuned to everything. This also means you can possibly participate in volunteer activities too, like some type of charity or something like that. If the money permits it, you maybe even feel that you're make like a financial contribution or like a donation, a monetary donation. Now, there are some difficult aspects, so there could be some issues in health. But if you kind of use this more productively with the work and volunteering, I usually notice there's less of a likelihood for sickness, but still take care of your health. Many public servants also and politicians have this, so maybe people see you as someone who is there to serve and to help, or maybe you see yourself as there to serve and to help. We also see sometimes this placement very similar to like waiters or waitresses, so maybe you're serving or helping people to make things happen or to like achieve something, some type of service that you offer or render. Now you also have 9th and the 1st, and so this kind of makes you a person who is very much so a dreamer. They're wrapped into their own philosophy, and you like to make those known with people that you come in contact with. You also can seek education or wanting to learn. Some way maybe you even can teach as well, so you can air out your thought processes. So that is a possibility. Maybe you also have like ambitions and goals, and they kind of like push you or project you ahead. Good luck, Cancer. Now for my Leos, this will be occurring in your 4th house, and so your 12th house. Why did I say that? This will be occurring in your 12th house, and so there can be some lethargicness, a desire to antagonize others, difficulty communicating, sometimes being a loner, problematic relationships, and sometimes dealing with employment or who you work for in the moment. So Jupiter rules your 5th and your 8th house, and it will be going into your 12th. So let's see what that says about you. When the 5th house lord goes into the 12th, your pleasure is often found through solitude or deep research. Looking to the past to help us with the future. There could be some difficulties where maybe you could experience sorrow through your relationships, particularly with your children. Maybe there's some strain there. Maybe you guys aren't getting along, especially what I said earlier about the antagonizing and communication problems. There's also a possibility of maybe confinement, because there's a lot of risk taking and gambling, not just with money or your life. So taking so many risks that you end up like being trapped in somewhere. But this is a great placement, possibly for creative writing, if you can kind of get into the mode, maybe even like doing some fantasy. Now for your 8th house lord in the 12th, maybe you have a hard time showing more of who you are and vulnerability. This can also be impacting your sex life as well. Now, sometimes I do see with this placement, sometimes people have a lot of affairs going on, secret affairs, but there may be too much emphasis on sex, especially since there's so much strain during the time of this transit when it first started. And this can bring a lot of detriment and problems to relationships. So good luck, Leo. Kind of being a little messy, but good luck. Now for my Virgos, Jupiter will be in the 11th house, and so this can provide us with wealth, as the 11th house is the house of earnings. It can help you to initiate projects, work diligently to fulfill those goals, and give you opportunities, the support of friends, and overall good health. Now Jupiter is the ruler of your 4th and 7th house, and it will be retrograding in your 11th. So let's see what that says. Now, your 7th house lord in the 11 makes you want to partner with people that you can be friends with, whether they're platonic or not. Even if you're in a romantic situation, you also can attract someone who has children that you can look after. Maybe you're babysitting more, maybe you're volunteering. This is also a desire to go into business with friends. Now, there are some difficult aspects, so there could be a tendency to maybe even be a loner, or maybe not want to be tied down to anyone or in any situation as well, because Jupiter was opposing Pluto during the time of the transit. So there could be an opportunity there, and maybe we have to reevaluate that, especially if you already kind of guarantee support. Maybe there's something that we can evaluate in that situation. Now onto your 4th house in the 11th. This can sometimes integrate a home where your friends are always welcome to stay. You can be very goal oriented and very ambitious. You really know what you want out of life. Sometimes this also can imply adopted children or stepchildren, or children that necessarily aren't yours, but they're in your life. But neither here nor there. I think it's time for Virgo to reevaluate those goals, see where we can get that support, and where we can initiate those projects. And everything doesn't have to be on our shoulders or by ourselves. Okay, good luck, Virgo. Now for Libra, this retrograde will occur in the 10th, and so here we're very ambitious. We want that professional success, and we can get that. We can have a good reputation, well respected, fair-minded, position of leadership, education, law, and government. Now this will be occurring. Your 3rd and 6th house lord will be in the 10th. So let's look at how that can be impacting us. There's a great need to have your voice heard and to voice your thoughts and ideas, but you may feel most comfortable doing it from like a stage or some platform where we can have more of a performance. There's a strong need for self-expression and a projection of the ego, which can sometimes push you deeper into the limelight, and you get like all this public recognition, or you become like a public figure. Maybe you write or say something and it just kind of like goes or whatever. Now there are some challenging aspects here. So the notoriety may be what you seek, but it could have some challenging things. So like we seek notoriety, but it can come with plutonic, how can I say this, plutonic themes. So like crime, sex, violence may be attached to it, or maybe even you freeze in the public. When you're supposed to say something, or something just doesn't go according to plan, or hasn't been going according to plan in this pursuit of gaining professional success for whatever reason. Now the 6th house lord in the 10th to imply that whatever the work that you do will bring you ego satisfaction, but also your career. So whatever your daily habits are really shape you or bring you closer to those career goals. And so if you aren't necessarily doing things to push you in the right direction, this is an opportunity for you to try to do more tasks that can get you there. The other thing is you really pride yourself on routine and being organized and how much you can get done in a day. Now, some of these challenging aspects is maybe we have authority figures, parents, or government or whatever, making us feel like we have to work harder than we really want to for something that we actually want to be paid for. But you have real leadership potential and ambition to succeed and to improve your craft. So I think that you should just kind of focus on that and not get sideswept in the noise. Okay. Good luck, Libra. Now for my Scorpios, Jupiter will be in the 9th. And so this deals with philosophy, religion, being fair-minded, a good teacher, well-educated, prosperous, happiness through children, and creativity, generous and well-known. Now Jupiter rules your 2nd and your 5th house, and it is in the 9th. So when your 5th house lord goes into the 9th, you want to travel for pleasure to faraway places. You feel like traveling to these faraway places will make you happy. You're also interested in creative literature. Maybe you're interested in teaching, learning, and you can really be good at this time. There's also an indicator for sports, being attracted to sports, and they can inspire you as well. Now for your 2nd house lord in your 9th, philosophy and religion and all of these ideas are very important to your values. Now higher education may feel necessary if you want to take advantage of those resources. So if there's a class you wanted to take like over these next couple months, or even just starting the process of more in-depth education, I think you should explore those things. You can also earn a living through publishing, teaching, working in libraries, dealing with religions or faith. Now publishing can also deal with social media, because every time you post something, it's publishing. So if you wanted to start that social media account or something where you have to keep posting, I would really recommend that. Or write a book or something like that. Again, long distance travel is very important, and you may be able to earn money through it, or it may also help you to change your values. This can also deal with foreign trade, which can help to increase your income. Now, for people who are in committed relationships and married, your self-worth can also be helped through your partner's kin, if it's okay. Now, I would say it might be the opposite, because like I said, during this retrograde, when it started, there was some tension producing aspects. So there could be some issues there, because Jupiter is opposing Pluto, and then the moon had some strong aspects too. So you might have some issues with the in-laws, but try to take it easy, okay? Good luck, Scorpio. Now for Sag, Jupiter will be in your 8th house. So this is wonderful because it works well in partnerships. It's really dependent also on employees or people that we work with, colleagues for success, and there may be some professional ups and downs, but overall a good health. Now Jupiter rules your 1st and 4th house, and we see that going into the 8th. So let's look into that. When your 1st house lord goes into the 8th, there could be interest in the 8th house themes like sex, the occult, taxes, death, or maybe you feel like there's an increase of sex appeal. Maybe you're having to manage more of other people's things, so managing money and resources, etc. When the 4th house lord goes into the 8th, you'll probably be a very private person. It doesn't really matter how friendly you are. You're going to need a lot more privacy. And it also just seems like few people actually really know you or what you actually do. We can also see that maybe some person's passing could have had a great impression on you. And I'm not saying like someone's going to pass away, but maybe we feel those feelings of we miss a person who has passed already. And it made a very strong impression in your life. Maybe you think about them and you think about their fondness. And this is really going to force you to examine your own happiness in your direction in life. The other thing is you're going to also examine what your parents or family expectations are of you and how well can we really live up to those things. So I would tell you to take some time to do some introspection and some soul searching. Good luck, Sag. Now for my Capricorns, this will occur in your 7th house. And so this can make a friendly personality, popularity, respected, generous, well-liked, and overall a good marriage or getting good partnerships, whether platonic or not. Now, Jupiter is your 12th house lord and your 3rd house lord, and it is going into your 7th. And so here, our relationships really can help transform us and make us examine our subconscious thoughts. What do we really think? How do we really feel? And do we still align with those? Now, your 3rd house lord also is going into the 7th. And so you really have to watch to not let other people try to overly influence you or make too many demands of you. People keep trying to convince you, but you're also just very easy to talk to at this time too. And there can be a great exchange of ideas at this time. But use this time to review relationships, communication, and what you actually think and what your ideas are. Good luck, Capricorn. Okay, now for my Aquariuses. This will be occurring in your 6th house. And so you will get success by overcoming obstacles and adversity. And you can be more lethargic now, but you're clever, can be a little bit extra, but a good worker and overall very charming. Now here, Jupiter rules your 2nd and your 11th house lord, and it is going into your 6th. So what does that say? When your 2nd house lord goes into your 6th, you will need to think about earning a living through the work, but it might not be your final career. So maybe you're a writer through college. I don't know, maybe you went through a writing program, but maybe you work a managerial position. Also, many of your values can somewhat be dependent on the service you wish to render, and you could earn money through maybe health, hygiene, nutrition in that field, or maybe dealing with having to go there. So maybe getting a checkup, dealing with your health, dealing with your pet, etc. But also earning money, like I said, through a service you can offer someone as well. Now, your 11th house lord goes into your 6th. So here, this is a good placement for someone who is selfless and giving and charitable. Like I said before, we may have to examine opportunities where we could have success in giving of service, where we may also have to examine, should we be paid, should we not be paid. But also thinking of people who also overcome adversity and helping people to overcome adversity as well. That can also be a thing where we have to examine the success of overcoming struggles and adversity, and maybe we can learn that too through people who are less fortunate, or just from other people through the act of charity. And remember, just because it is not a job or career field that you want to be in doesn't mean that it doesn't hold value, and it does seem like you'll get some success or get some luck from overcoming any of these obstacles and challenges at this time. I would tell you to examine what you have learned and how these transformations and what these experiences could have taught you going through all of this. Good luck, Aquarius. And last but not least, for my Pisces, Jupiter will be retrograding in your 5th house, and he is highly optimistic. This deals with good investments, dramatic talent, being in politics or interested in politics, government, happiness by way of children and creativity, and education or being educated. Now, Jupiter here rules your 1st and 10th house, and it will be in your 5th. So when the 10th house is in the 5th, people are often involved in like theater or some type of creative. They bring some type of creativity to work. And either you're not famous, but maybe the children you work with becomes famous, or some type of creativity becomes very famous and it kind of pops off. So that's something to examine. And then your 1st house lord is in the 5th. And so here, you are fun-loving, generous, and dramatic. Really usually good at arts, and kind of have like this social pull, almost like a it factor, and people really can tell. You can be very adventurous, daring, and really into sports. Just really taking life by the horns. Children and creativity definitely play an important role. And that's something that you can take advantage of. Romance is important to you. That's something you can take advantage of if you kind of direct it into something, you know, but you're overall in love with love and just kind of like dramatic. It's kind of like that classic artistic, like theater archetype that we see. So like think like that extravagance of like Liberace or Elton John, but like think about them as being like hopeless romantics and loving kids and just kind of like, you know, just try not to be so obnoxious that no one can stand you. So but this gives us an opportunity where you can kind of be the life of the party and be social. They want you to take all that creativity and put it into your work and really expand and try different things and just get out there while you can. Okay, good luck, Pisces. Okay guys, so this is the end of the reading. Now this retrograde is going to be occurring for the next couple of months. It won't stop until March. The last thing I'll just say is please take care of your health, because Jupiter does signify health in general. So just try to take care of yourself, you know, go to your doctor's appointments, eat moderately, please do not lose your mind, and just enjoy the holiday or the winter break. Good luck everyone, and goodbye.